Honored guests, kindly take your seats. Kindly take your seats as we prepare to welcome our guests of honor who will be joining us very shortly. Those of you standing at the entrances, especially to my right, you can kindly take your seats. And when their excellencies join us here, we will all stand and accord them a most dignified, most African welcoming. Their excellencies will be joining us very shortly. Kindly take your seats, distinguished guests. We will have ample time to network later, to get to know one another later, but for now, let's prepare to welcome their excellencies. Photographers, be on standby. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join us in a most dignified welcome to our guests of honor, the First Ladies and the First Gentlemen of Africa. A very, very warm welcome to the First Ladies and the First Gentlemen from across our continent. Ladies and gentlemen, I now kindly request you all to kindly take your seats. We'll give a moment for photographers to take meaningful pictures. Esteemed guests, we may now take our seats and we will begin the official proceedings of our program. All right, thank you very much to members of the media. I believe you've taken photographs. You may now return to your gallery up there. Thank you very much to our photographers for capturing very meaningful moments. You may take your positions up there in the gallery. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Dr. Fatima Madabio, President of OAFLAD, First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Your Excellency, Dr. Ana Afonso Diaz Lorenzo, Vice President of OAFLAD and First Lady of the Republic of Angola, Your Excellency, Mrs. Zinash Tayacho, First Lady of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, our gracious host country, Your Excellencies, the First Ladies in attendance, and Your Excellency, General Denga Epaphras Ndaitunga, the First Gentleman of the Republic of Namibia. Welcome, sir, to your first OAFLAD General Assembly. Distinguished guests, high-level partners from governments, the African Union, United Nations agencies, as well as our international partners, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Karibu, Benvindo, Bienvenue. Welcome home to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and welcome to the open session of the 30th OAFLAD General Assembly held on the sidelines of the 39th African Union Summit. Your Excellencies, today as we begin this distinguished assembly, we take a moment to celebrate the remarkable journey and the legacy of our organization, OAFLAD. Since its establishment in 2002, OAFLAD has united first spouses across Africa to advance the rights, the dignity, and the well-being of women and girls. We're currently this year celebrating 24 years of impact, and next year we'll be celebrating our 25th year of impact. At this important milestone, ladies and gentlemen, let me kindly invite you all to please give a warm round of applause to all the first spouses of Africa for their enduring commitment for the dignity and the rightful place of our women and girls in the global stage. Excellencies, we thank you on behalf of OAFLAD. This year, Your Excellencies, we gather under the theme, Building Resilience for Women and Girls, Climate, Conflict, and Sustainable Futures. And throughout this assembly, we will explore how first spouses can continue to foster strong partnerships, advance women's rights, and champion initiatives that empower communities across Africa. Once again, welcome, Your Excellencies. Now, Your Excellencies, remember the lovely moment we had yesterday at the luncheon hosted by Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, who has been welcoming her African sisters to Addis Ababa for this meaningful assembly. And therefore, we begin with the welcoming remarks of Her Excellency. Her Excellency is a remarkable leader and an advocate for social development. She has dedicated her work to championing the rights and the well-being of women, children, and persons with disabilities across Africa, giving a second chance at a dignified life for people with disabilities. And we saw those lovely children yesterday when they were performing on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Her Excellency Mrs. Zinash Tayacho, the First Lady of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, for the welcoming address. Your Excellency, welcome.
Dr. Fatima Bayu, የአፍሪካ ቀዳማዊት እመቤት ፕሬዝዳንት፣ ክቡራን ቀዳማዊ እመቤቶች፣ ጥሪ የተደረገላችሁ እንግዶች፣ ክቡራንና ክቡራት፣ በቅድሚያ እንኳን ወደ አፍሪካ መዲና ወደ ሆነችው ወደ ውቢቷ አዲስ አበባ በደህና መጣችሁ ማለት እወዳለሁ። 30ኛው የአፍሪካ ቀዳማዊ እመቤቶች ጠቅላላ ጉባኤ ቃል የአፍሪካን ሴቶች ፈተናዎችን የመቋቋም አቅም መገንባት፣ የአየር ንብረት ግጭቶችና ዘላቂ ነገር የሚል የመሪ ቃል ዓላማ በጾታ እኩልነት፣ በጤና እና በትምህርት መርሃ ግብሮች የሚከናወኑ ዘርፍና አየር ንብረት ለውጥ ላይ የአፍሪካ ሴቶችን አቅም የበለጠ ለማጎልበት ነው። አፍሪካ የቆመችው በሴቶች ትከሻ ላይ ነው። አብዛኛውን የቤት ውስጥ ኢኮኖሚ የሚንቀሳቀሰው በሴቶች ነው። ከ30 እስከ 80% የሚሆኑ የአፍሪካ ግብርና የሚከናወነው በሴቶች ሲሆን ልጆችን የሚያሳድጉ ሴቶች ናቸው። የማህበረሰቡን ታሪክና ወግ የሚያስተላልፉ ሴቶች ናቸው። የሴቶችን ችግር ለማቃለል የሚቻለው ማህበራዊ ልማቶችን ወደ ገጠሪቱ አፍሪካ ተደራሽ በማድረግ ነው። በተለይ ደግሞ ሴቶችን ማዕከል ያደረጉ የማህበራዊ ልማት ተግባራት የሴቶችን አቅም የበለጠ ያጎለብታል። ይህንን ታሳቢ በማድረግ ጽፈት ቤታችን ባለፉት 6 ዓመታት 37 ሁለተኛ ደረጃ ትምህርት ቤቶችን ገንብቷል። የትምህርት ተደራሽነትንም ከፍ አድርጓል። ከዚህ በተጨማሪ ጽፈት ቤታችን ለሴቶች የሙያና የንግድ ክህሎት ስልጠና ይሰጣል። የመስሪያ ቦታና ግብአት ያቀርባል። እንዲሁም የመነሻ ካፒታል ያመቻቻል። በዚህም የተነሳ በርካታ ሴቶች በገቢ ማስገኛ ስራ ላይ ተሰማርተው የራሳቸውንና የቤተሰባቸውን ህይወት እየቀየሩ ይገኛሉ። ይህንን መሰል ተግባራት ሴቶችን የማቋቋም አቅም ከፍ ያደርጋሉ። ሴቶችን ከማህበራዊና ማህበረሰባዊ ጫናዎችም ያቃልላሉ። ሴቶችን ማሳተፍ ሀገርን ማሳተፍ ነው የሚል አፍሪካዊ አባባል አለ። ለሴቶች የሚሰራ ልማት ለሀገር እንደሚሰራ ልማት ማለት ነው። ሴቶችን በየዘርፉ ማሳተፍ ሀገርን በሙሉ እንደማሳተፍ ይቆጠራል። የኢትዮጵያ አረንጓዴ አሻራ ሊሳካ የቻለው ሚሊዮን ሴቶች በፈቃደኝነት ስለተሳተፉ ነው። የአየር ንብረት መዛባትን ለመቋቋም ሆነ ሌሎችን የአፍሪካ ችግሮች ለመቅረፍ ሴቶች ወሳኙን ቦታ የሚያገኙበትን አውድ መፍጠር አለብን ብዬ አስባለሁ። ለዚህም ደግሞ እኛ ቀዳማዊ እመቤቶች ከፍ ያለ ኃላፊነት አለብን። ስለሰማችሁኝ አመሰግናለሁ። እግዚአብሔር ይባርካችሁ።
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, First Lady Zinash Tayacho, for the inspiring welcome. Indeed, Africa stands on the shoulder of women. Your Excellencies, our assembly this year is very special as we are joined by a first gentleman. And I would like to once again warmly welcome General Denga Epaphras Ndaitua, the first gentleman of the Republic of Namibia. Can we take a moment to warmly welcome His Excellency? Welcome very much, sir. What an honor to have you with us. Welcome, sir. And now, Your Excellencies, for the opening remarks, we're honored to hear from the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone and the President of OAFLAD. Allow me to introduce Her Excellency. She's a leading advocate for gender equality and sustainable development, and she also serves as Deputy Chair of the United Nations Zero Waste Advisory Board. In Sierra Leone, she has championed strong action against gender-based violence, including the hashtag Hands Off Our Girls campaign. And in 2024, she led the passage of legislation raising the legal age of marriage to 18. Ladies and gentlemen, a change maker. Please welcome Her Excellency Dr. Fatima Madabio, First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone and President of OAFLAD, for the opening remarks. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you, everyone. Come on, our Master of Ceremony is so pretty. Let's clap for her. I said we deal with beauty that has brain. Our distinguished Master of Ceremony, Your Excellencies, my dearest sisters, and my big brother. Come on, you can do better than that. Distinguished colleagues, esteemed partners, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. It is with profound honor and humility that I welcome you to the 30th Ordinary General Assembly of the Organization of African First Ladies for Development. This gathering marks far more than the passing of time. 30 Ordinary General Assemblies represent 3 decades of resilient solidarity and shared vision, a testament to what African women can achieve when we unite around a common purpose. And I'll rephrase this, a testament to what we can achieve when African women and African men comes together in unity for a common purpose. As Nelson Mandela once reminded us, it always seems impossible until it is done. Today, we stand as a living proof that what once seems impossible, African First Ladies coming together as a force for development, has not only been done, but continue to grow in strength and relevance. An African proverb tells us that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. For 30 years, OAFLAD has chosen to go far. Together, transforming compassion into advocacy and advocacy into meaningful action for women, children, and vulnerable communities across our continent. As First Lady of Sierra Leone, I have witnessed firsthand the transformative power of women's leadership. In my own journey, I have seen how a single intervention, keeping a girl in school, protecting a woman from violence, or providing maternal health service in a rural community can ripple outwards to change families, villages, and ultimately nations. I recall a visit to a small health post in Kenema district in my home country, Sierra Leone, where a mother shared how the introduction of basic prenatal care had reduced complications and restored hope. Their stories were a powerful reminder that development is not abstract. It is lived in the daily struggle and triumphs of our people. This lived experience reaffirmed a truth we all share. Development is incomplete when women are left behind. OAFLAD has always been more than an organization. It is a sisterhood and a brotherhood of purpose. Together, we have championed causes that were once neglected, such as HIV and AIDS awareness, the prevention of child marriage, women's economic empowerment, and the fight against gender-based violence. As African First Ladies, we have used our platform not for ceremony, but for services. This conviction continues to guide our work. As president of OAFLAD, I am deeply profound of how this organization has evolved into a credible and influential voice capable of shaping policies, mobilizing partnership, and delivering results that matters. Yet our work is far from complete. Poverty, inequality, health disparities, climate change, and emerging social challenges continue to threaten the future we seek to build. But as African women, mothers, and leaders, we know that progress is possible. Let this assembly reaffirm our commitment to leaving our children a continent of opportunity, not of abstract. As we deliberate during the 30th Ordinary General Assembly, let us reflect honestly, recommit boldly, and act decisively. Let us ensure that OAFLAD's dream remain responsive to the reality of today's Africa, an Africa defined by youthful population, innovation, resilient, and rising aspirations. In unity, there is strength. In compassion, there is healing. And in purposeful leadership, there is transformation. May this assembly stand as a beacon of renewed commitment, reminding us that our voices, our actions, and our solidarity can shape the destiny of Africa. I thank you all, and I want to wish you a fruitful deliberation. At this juncture, may I also take the opportunity to thank our host, Her Excellency Zinash Saishi, who has always been there to make sure when we come to Addis, we feel as Ethiopians. Thank you, Madam First Lady, for your hospitality. We are grateful on behalf of myself and the Vice President of OAFLAD. I want to say thank you, and I want to say welcome to every one of you. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Dr. Fatima Madabio, for that powerful opening. Your Excellencies, at this point, we're pleased to invite an OAFLAD Steering Committee member to deliver her distinguished intervention. Please, Your Excellencies, join me in warmly welcoming to the stage Her Excellency Mrs. Rachel Ruto, First Lady of the Republic of Kenya. Karibu.
Your Excellency Fatima Maadabayo, the President of OAFLAD and First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Your Excellency Dr. Ana Afonso Dias Lorenzo, the Vice President of OAFLAD and the First Lady of Angola, our host, Your Excellency Madam Zinash Tayach, First Lady of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, First Ladies and the First Gentleman of Africa present, distinguished guests and partners, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning again. Seated on the equatorial belt, Kenya receives adequate rainfall to fend for her population. However, 80% of the country is arid and semi-arid, and thus prone to food insecurity and climate shocks. Girls like Amina and Naserian walk further in search of water as nearby sources dry up. In these fragile communities where scarcity fuels tension, mothers carry the heaviest burden. However, they rebuild through savings groups. Teachers keep classrooms open, and girls return to school not merely to survive, but to learn. Yet, resilience rises. I bring you warm greetings from His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto and from the great people of Kenya, who stand united in their commitment to the protection, dignity, and empowerment of women and girls. The President believes that resilient nations are built through deliberate investment in women and girls. Your Excellencies, as former President of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf once reminded us, if your dreams do not scare you, they are not big enough. Our girls have big dreams, dreams of education, safety, leadership, and opportunity. Those dreams may seem daunting in the face of climate shocks, conflict, and inequality. But African women have never been strangers to courage. From the markets to the classrooms, from the farms to the boardrooms, they rise again and again, turning adversity into advancement. As we witnessed yesterday afternoon during our tour of the Adwa Museum, where we experienced the wisdom and quiet strength of the female warriors who delivered Ethiopia. The story of the African woman remains consistent to this day. Resilience is not accidental. It is cultivated. It is protected. It is led. If we fail Amina, Naserian, and their mothers, then the offices we occupy and the titles we carry become hollow echoes. Our true legacy will not be written in declarations, but in whether these girls grow into women who are educated, safe, economically empowered, and able to shape a sustainable future for their communities. In Kenya, we are clear. Investing in women and girls is not an expense. It is the smartest investment a nation can make. Protect a girl and you stabilize a family. Educate a girl and you strengthen an economy. Empower a woman and you create a legacy. As President William Ruto, the President of Kenya, affirmed last year on International Women's Day, and I quote, "Our commitment to women and girls is not merely a matter of equality and justice. It is a driving force for a stronger, more inclusive, and prosperous society." This commitment is even more urgent at a sustainable futures. My dear sisters, in my country, targeted interventions are immense, yet the scale of the challenge remains glaring. 1 in 6 adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 become pregnant or is already a mother. As of December 1st, 2025, the thematic briefs by UNFPA Kenya revealed that young women account for 78% of new HIV infections among those aged 15 to 24. Behind these numbers are interrupted dreams and deferred futures. To address this in partnership with OAFLAD, we launched the Triple Threat Program in August of 2025, a coordinated evidence-based response to teenage pregnancy, HIV, and sexual and gender-based violence. These interconnected challenges demand integrated solutions. I'm proud to report that within just 6 months, this initiative has delivered measurable results. 200 healthcare providers trained across more than 220 health facilities in 4 counties, strengthening adolescent and youth-friendly services. County-level advocacy strengthened through youth-led initiatives ensuring sustainability. Over 250 policymakers and stakeholders sensitized, fostering shared ownership and long-term commitment. Through this national campaign, the Triple Threat Program has been elevated to a national priority, mobilizing leadership across government, civil society, and the private sector. This work complements Kenya's broader commitment to ending the triple threat by 2027. Your Excellencies, equally, through the Voice of Children initiative, a program in my office, we ensure that thousands of children have access to food, educational materials, and safe spaces. Beyond safeguarding, we actively advocate against violence and amplify children's voices, empowering them to participate in the decisions that shape their own lives. For instance, at St. Luke's School for the Deaf, 5 learners stepped forward, silent yet bold. I watched one young learner gently press soil around a seed as they established a tree nursery and tended a kitchen and food garden, growing food with independence. Without a word, he spoke to us all. Ability is not defined by sound, and leadership is not limited by circumstance. We gave them seeds, but they gave us courage. Prove that even in silence, action speaks, and small hands can sow the future. In Kachororoni Primary School, located in one of the most vulnerable communities, the story is equally inspiring. Where poverty once threatened school participation, kitchen gardens have restored hope. Children who came to school hungry now tend gardens that nourish them. Attendance has risen. Confidence has grown. Kachororoni, once defined by scarcity, now teaches other schools how to establish sustainable kitchen gardens. What began as a simple garden in a rural school has now taken root across counties and communities. Parents influence one another. Sisters teach their brothers. Brothers teach their sisters. Schools mentor schools. Across Kenya, gardens are growing and thriving, and with them, resilience, nutrition, and climate leadership are evident. Last year, the Joyful Women organization which I founded celebrated 16 years of impact, making a remarkable journey of empowering women across Kenya. more than 250,000 women organized in over 17,000 table banking groups have mobilized over $30 million in savings. Consistent small contributions have grown into businesses, paid school fees, and ensured financial independence. Women who once had no access to credit now stand as entrepreneurs and community leaders. Mama Bosire, who began as a tea picker in Kericho, now owns 3 posho mills and has educated all her children through university. Her words stay with me. I did not inherit wealth. I cultivated it. That is transformative economic resilience. Clean cooking has become another pillar of environmental sanctity. By reducing dependence on firewood and charcoal, we protect women's health, reduce deforestation, and lower carbon emissions. Thousands of women trained under the Joyful Women organization now serve as clean cooking ambassadors countrywide, turning climate action into economic opportunity. To OAFLAD, thank you for being more than a platform. You are a force for continental transformation. As First Ladies, we have learned that leadership is not measured by the speeches we deliver or the titles we hold. It is measured by something far more intimate: resilience. Resilience in ambition, resilience in transformation. To our host, Your Excellency Madam Zinashe Tayach, thank you for the warm hospitality that has made our visit memorable. To the Secretariat, thank you for being patient with us, for understanding us, and for guiding us. That is resilience. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to invite all of you to the vibrant city in the sun, Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya, the only city in the world with a national park and home to the Big Four. In the last week of November this year, I will be launching our Building Resilience campaign and celebrating 17 years of impact by the Joyful Women organization, God willing. May God bless our girls. May God bless our women. May God bless our OAFLAD and all our partners. And may God bless the great continent of Africa. See you in Nairobi in November. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Mrs. Rachel Ruto, First Lady of the Republic of Kenya. And thank you all First Ladies for your unified voice. Indeed, it's a blessing, it's a huge privilege to have a voice loud enough to speak for the voiceless. Your Excellency is back from the days of Adwa, in which we visited yesterday through the Office of the First Lady of Ethiopia, until today. Indeed, Africa stands on the shoulders of women. And as Her Excellency, our President, Madam Fatima, said, indeed, our organization stands for the most vulnerable in the continent, the most pressing issues which are overlooked, and the most vulnerable people of our continent. As an organization, we have come far, but still we have a long way to go. And together, we can achieve so much. Once again, First Ladies, I thank you so much personally for using your voice. From those deaf girls in Kenya planting trees, and to the blind girls in Ethiopia who now can read because of the devices that Her Excellency provides for them. It is indeed and impact that you make on the continent. Your Excellencies, and now for the keynote remarks, we're delighted to welcome a long-standing partner of OAFLAD and a steadfast supporter of many of our First Ladies and members. Professor Sanait Fisaha is a globally recognized leader. She's the Vice President of Global Programs at the Susan Thompson Buffett Foundation, and she's also Chief Advisor to the Director General of the World Health Organization. She continues to drive resilient health systems, gender equality, and training initiatives across Africa and beyond. And when it comes to speaking for women and girls, ladies and gentlemen, she is never quiet. She uses her voice. Please welcome Professor Sanait Fisaha.
Good morning. Ndamna addarachu. Habari. Muraho. There you go. Good morning, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, and partners. And thank you, Her Excellency, First Lady Fatima Bio, Vice President, Her Excellency, First Lady Anidias de Lorenzo, and Dr. Nardos, the Secretariat, for your incredible leadership over this past year. I also would like to thank Her Excellency, First Lady Zinash Tayacho, for your warm welcome to Addis, which has now become our home yearly for this gathering. Every year that I join this meeting, I am reminded of the strength of sisterhood. And maybe I now will add brotherhood, because the first gentleman of Namibia is among us. As many of you know, the Buffett Foundation, we are singularly focused on transforming the lives of women and girls in our continent. The work you do, Excellencies, First Ladies, is an incredibly important complement to the work that we support, which is helping governments expand access to maternal and reproductive health services to women and girls throughout the continent. Reproductive health services are often the first to be disrupted, just when women need them the most. But when we talk about crises, we often look to emergency responses and overlook the very basic things like building resilient health systems and ensuring maternal and reproductive health services are integrated to basic primary health care. You mentioned I'm the advisor for the WHO Director General, and Dr. Tedros always says crisis and preparedness and primary health care are two sides of the same coin, because if we don't have a very strong and resilient primary health care system, at the time of crisis, women and girls will not be able to access basic services, as we witnessed during the COVID pandemic. Our women and girls already are in crisis, Excellencies. As you know, 70%, that's 70, of the global mortality, that's death of women during childbirth, happens in our continent. 1/3 of maternal mortality happens in Nigeria. So, Excellencies, you are in a position to make enormous difference. And we have seen what happens when you step up to lead on these issues. And in some of our countries, half of the maternal deaths are in teenagers, because their bodies are not simply fully developed. They are not ready to give birth. So we know that we have all the tools and expertise we need to tackle maternal mortality. What we lack is the sense of urgency and focus. Focus on interventions we know work, on building health systems that can deliver for women and girls. And just yesterday, with presidents and heads of states of Ethiopia, Rwanda, Central African Republic, Sierra Leone, as well as leaders from our president from Kenya, President Ruto,
and agencies of African CDC, WHO, we made a commitment to put additional $100 million every year for the next 10 years so that we can achieve zero maternal death. And we do think that's achievable. So what I want to do here is, First Ladies, pause and challenge you to join us in this ambition that we have to eradicate preventable maternal death in Africa. We know what women die from. Imagine what an unfortunate tragedy it is to die while you're going to give life. And our women die because they are too young and their bodies are not ready, so they get what we call obstructed labor. And when that happens, they don't have access to cesarean section. They don't have access to simple things like blood when they have hemorrhage or bleeding. They don't have access to medication to manage high blood pressure or preeclampsia and pregnancy. They die from unsafe abortion because they don't have access to safe services. They go get to see people who do clandestine services, and we don't have enough trained workforce, the midwives, the nurses, the doctors, the specialists we need to deliver the services. So I really want to call you on this task. How do we support you to elevate the services and prevent this tragic crisis from happening? I now have been coming to this meeting for the last 7 years. This is my 8th year, I believe. And we keep thinking about, talking about these issues. So as our sister First Lady of Kenya asked us, how do we take this moment and move from campaign slogans to actions, delivering tangible things that our women need, from family planning services to prevent unintended pregnancy, to prenatal and postnatal care, to emergency obstetrical services, surgical services, access to contraception, safe abortion, and post-abortion care. This isn't just about addressing one of our continent's greatest injustice. It's really about building resilient health system we need today and in times of crisis. And when I look at all of you, and I look at my life's journey as an Ethiopian woman and born and raised in this country, leading one of the most prominent foundations in the world, I always look at myself and say, wait a minute, had it not been having a father who believed in girls' education 50-something years ago. I am one of 10 kids, and my father always said, tomorrow you're gonna grow up and be a minister. You're gonna grow up, you don't know if you're going to be a prime minister. Here are the things I want you to think about. So the roles fathers play in a girl's life, we just cannot underestimate. So had it not been for a father that believed in education, had it not been for avoiding female genital mutilation, had it not been avoiding teen pregnancy, early marriage, and access to education, I will not be where I am, and ladies, none of us will be where we are in this room today. So, Excellencies, you really have a powerful role to play. All of us look up to you, especially young girls in this continent. The trust you have in communities allows you to help educate rural women, as we heard today, expand reproductive health services, while also reminding your highest political leaders, your spouses, of the realities women and girls face. And we see the work that you have done. I've talked about this in the past year. I've had the enormous pleasure of recently visiting Senator Tinubu and the work she's doing in rehabilitating teen moms and young girls, pregnant girls, and ensuring that they continue their education and they continue to have access reproductive health services. First Lady Bio, the work you have done and you continue to do, the remarkable accomplishment you've had in Sierra Leone in passing the child marriage bill that has become foundational. First Lady Tuadura is not with us, but in bringing together a multi-sectoral coalition to expand access contraception services. Rwanda's Imbuto Foundation, which I know many of the First Ladies visit, that does from a very integrated and comprehensive service, from radically expanding education to reproductive health services, to mental health services. I know the First Lady of Ethiopia is doing remarkable work, from food security to education to collaborating with Ministry of Health to expand SRH services. First Lady of Kenya, the triple initiative of tackling HIV, teen pregnancy, which has become a crisis in this continent, sexual and gender-based violence that really attacks and keeps our girls behind. So we have ample example in this room, but how do we scale that up? Your ability to bridge the halls of power and the most vulnerable communities is really a superpower that not that many have. Trust in it, leverage it, continue to lean on partners like us, on OAFLAD, as we are your biggest champions. And let's set our sights on coming back here, hopefully in 3 years, in 4 years, in 5 years, and say, we made a difference. We eradicated preventable maternal death in our continent. Together, we can build health systems which are resilient in the face of crisis and conflict, and transform the lives of our women and girls in this continent so that each and every one of them, whether they are in Bujumbura or in Addis, whether they are coming from Lagos or coming from Windhoek, each and every girl will have a chance to self-actualize, fulfill her dreams, and live a life that is far greater and go a lot farther distance than all of us in this room have. I thank you.
Professor Sennight, that was indeed very powerful. Thank you for your continued partnership with OAFLAD. Your Excellencies, we're now pleased to hear from the African Union. We have with us Her Excellency Ambassador Amatum Amoa, Commissioner for Health, Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development of the African Union. Let's warmly welcome the representative of the African Union. Welcome, Ambassador Ama.
Thank you very much, my dear. Your Excellency, Dr. Fatima Madabio, First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone and President of the Organization of African First Ladies, in short, OAFLAD. Your Excellencies, African First Ladies and First Gentlemen, and allow me to make a special mention of my dear mother and First Lady of the Republic of Ghana, Her Excellency Lodina Mahama. Distinguished partners and stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, it is a profound honor to address this distinguished assembly. I extend my sincere appreciation to Your Excellency Dr. Fatima Madabio and the OAFLAD Secretariat for the invitation to address this 30th Ordinary General Assembly. The chosen theme, building resilience for women and girls, climate conflict and sustainable futures, is both timely and strategically aligned with the African Union's development and peace-building agenda. It is not simply aspirational, it is a call to action grounded in the realities of shaping Africa's future. Across our continent, women and girls are navigating a convergence of climate stress, insecurity, and economic disruption. At the same time, Africa has also seen growing regional mobility, remittances, and women's participation in economic life, creating new pathways for resilience, education, and household stability. Yet, these gains remain fragile. When climate shocks or climate strike, it is women and girls who are first to lose access to schooling, to income, and to protection. In fragile and climate-affected contexts, we observe disproportionate impacts on women and girls across 4 critical dimensions: increased exposure to gender-based violence, disruption of education and rising child marriage, breakdown of maternal and child
Assembly aligns powerfully with the African Union's theme of the year, assuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems to achieve the goals of Agenda 2063. Across our continent, women and girls remain the primary providers of household water, often sourcing it from unsafe rivers and distant points. When water is scarce, girls leave school. When sanitation is inadequate, women face heightened risk to their safety and health. When water systems fail, gender inequalities deepen. Water insecurity is not gender neutral. It is a driver of vulnerability. Securing water and sanitation is therefore not only an infrastructure priority, but also a gender justice imperative. It protects dignity, it keeps girls in school, it reduces violence, it strengthens health systems, and it creates conditions for economic participation. Your Excellencies, First Ladies and First Gentlemen, the partnership between the African Union Commission and OAFLAD is central to delivering on Agenda 2063 and safeguarding Africa's future generations. Looking forward to 2026 and 2027, the Commission invites you to champion 3 priorities. First, to work closely with the AUC to address health and social vulnerabilities exacerbated by climate change, displacement, and conflict. Second, to ensure women and girls are placed at the center of resilience building, governance, and recovery frameworks, to not as beneficiaries, but as leaders and decision makers. Third, to support the national rollout of Building Resilience campaign, a strategic platform to mobilize communities, institutions, and political leadership around gender-responsive climate action and protection. The Building Resilience campaign challenges us to move beyond emergency response towards systems-level change. It calls for integrated investment that protects women and also keep girls in school, strengthen health and water systems, and secure livelihoods and dignity. Your Excellencies, Africa's sustainable future will not be built on infrastructure alone. It will be built on the resilience, leadership, and agency of women and girls. The African Union Commission stands ready to deepen its partnership with OAFLAD. Together, I am convinced that we can ensure that the futures we speak of are not abstract ideals, but lived realities for every woman and every girl across our continent. Allow me, Excellencies, to end with this quote by Amy Tenney, which I find to be appropriate. And it quotes, "The world needs strong women, women who will lift and hold others, who will laugh and be loved, women who live bravely, both tender and fierce." I thank you for your attention. I'm a second.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Commissioner Ama Tumamoa, for that inspiring remark and the quote. Your Excellencies, and now we're pleased to present a short video. It's from the Spouses of CARICOM Leaders Action Network. It's a video of solidarity message from the chair, Her Excellency Anne-Marie Davis, the First Lady of the Bahamas. We direct your attention to the screen now.
Good morning. As the spouse of the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and as chair of the Spouses of CARICOM Leaders Action Network, known as OAFLAD, I am deeply honored to bring this message of hope and solidarity to you on the occasion of the 30th Ordinary General Assembly of the Organization of African First Ladies for Development, known as OAFLAD. I deeply regret that I am not able to join you in person. However, distance is never an impediment when one is fully committed to fighting a cause as significant as gender equality and the human rights and privileges of women and girls everywhere. It does not matter where we find ourselves on this earth. We as women share a collective responsibility to persist in our advocacy of steady and sustained action for positive results. Somewhere in the corner of the world, there is a woman or a girl right now who is crying out to be recognized as equal, to be educated, fed, to be allowed to visit a hospital for care, to feel safe and secure, to have equal pay, or to just remain whole. You know of what I speak. The struggle is real, and the work must go on for this most worthy cause. I wish to applaud OAFLAD for the stellar work undertaken in this regard. Your pledge to place focused attention on the strategic pillars of health, education, gender-based violence, and women's economic empowerment have been successful and impactful, and as is evidenced by the large numbers of women and girls you have touched with your initiatives. In the Bahamas, we insist that women have access to economic empowerment and help to reset the foundation of future business. Establishing more powerful positioning for women, solidifying a safety net for our children, and initiating the equity fortifies society as a whole. In September 2024, the government-led Bahamas Small Business Development Center, the SBDC, awarded 14 Bahamian women entrepreneurs $100,000 in grant funding. The grant was a subset of the SBDC's 2024 Women's Empowerment Initiative, which awarded more than $600,000 to 83 female entrepreneurs throughout the Bahamas. Your Excellencies, your expanded push to include climate change, peace and security, no doubt assists in bringing balance and equity for more sustainable outcomes. Your many initiatives, such as the Free to Shine campaign in 2018, We Are Equal campaign in 2024, and the Women Resilience campaign in 2025, amongst others, have proven to be beneficial and in many cases, life-saving. The only thing left for me to say is carry on, and may your light grow ever brighter. Your well-chosen theme, climate conflict, to stand firm in the face of adversity, to never lose hope, and to always bounce back stronger by employing gender-based approaches that focus on women and girls. We know that women living in conflict-torn areas face greater risk for harm and violence of all types. Further, women and girls living in areas impacted by climate change are prone to facing hunger and poverty, amongst other inequities. Building resilience means putting our heads together to find meaningful and sustainable solutions to the systemic and legacy problems that persist. Believe me, we have made progress, and we proudly stand on the shoulders of some very powerful females who have shown remarkable courage despite hardship. We are powerful, just as Wangari Maathai, Maya Angelou, Anne Frank, and Malala Yousafzai. They are heroes and role models, and so are all of you. The spouses of Carlton Leaders Action Network, or ESCAN, we stand with you. So, continue to challenge discriminatory practices, engage social media, and any other outlet where you can be seen and heard. Raise awareness, lead by example, support each other, and never stop raising those beautiful voices for a more equitable society, country, and world. So let us move forward in faith, in love, with renewed hope. I thank you. Good morning.
Thank you to Her Excellency Anne-Marie Davis, the First Lady of the Bahamas. Your Excellencies, at this point, we're now pleased to hear from OAFLAD member states as African First Ladies share their commitments to the new OAFLAD Strategic Framework 2025 to 2030 and outline their plans for 2026. And for the very first time in the history of our organization, we will hear from a first gentleman. What a distinguished occasion. Your Excellencies, first, please welcome Her Excellency Angeline Ndayishimiye, First Lady of the Republic of Burundi, to share her remarks. Your Excellency, a warm welcome.
Excellence, Dr. Fatima Madabio, présidente de l'OPEDAD, chères sœurs, mesdames les premières dames d'Afrique, chers frères, le premier monsieur de la République de la Namibie, madame la secrétaire exécutive de l'OPEDAD, mesdames et messieurs, chers partenaires de l'OPEDAD, mesdames et messieurs, les conseillers techniques, distingués invités, mesdames et messieurs, tout protocole observé, bonjour. Je remercie tout d'abord le bon Dieu pour cette opportunité de prendre la parole aujourd'hui ici à Addis Ababa sur cette terre emblématique, berceau du panafricanisme et cœur institutionnel de notre Union africaine. Le thème « Renforcer la résilience des femmes et des filles, climat, conflit et avenir durable » nous rappelle une vérité qui n'est pas assez mise à lumière. Ce sont les femmes qui portent le poids le plus lourd de cette responsabilité vitale. Par conséquent, tant que Première Dame, parler de résilience impose une exigence claire. Distinguer Première Dame, Premier Monsieur, Mesdames et Messieurs, l'Afrique que nous voulons, prospère, inclusive et panafrique, ne verra le jour qu'avec l'émancipation pleine et entière de ces femmes et de ces filles. Conséquence directe du thème de l'Union africaine d'assurer la disponibilité durable de l'eau et des systèmes d'assainissement sûrs pour atteindre les objectifs de l'agenda 2063. Pour construire notre résilience, les femmes africaines ne sollicitent pas l'assistance, mais l'accès équitable aux opportunités. En matière d'éducation, une fille peut être privée de la continuité de son apprentissage, non par manque de capacité, mais à raison de contraintes liées à l'hygiène menstruelle et aux responsabilités domestiques qui lui sont imposées. Pourtant, le système éducatif attend d'elle les mêmes performances que c'est exigé des garçons, sans toujours tenir compte de ces réalités. Concernant l'égalité des genres, dans le contexte des conflits et des post-conflits, les femmes jouent pourtant un rôle central dans la construction de la résilience. Elle assure la survie des familles, maintiennent la cohésion sociale et contribuent activement au processus de la paix
au niveau communautaire. Malgré la violence et le déplacement, les femmes s'organisent, créent des réseaux de solidarité, soutiennent l'éducation des enfants et participent aux initiatives locales de médiation et de réconciliation. Investir dans le leadership féminin et reconnaître le rôle des femmes dans la prévention et la résolution des conflits constitue un levier essentiel pour bâtir des sociétés plus stables et plus résilientes. Distinguées premières dames, premiers messieurs, mesdames et messieurs, nos filles méritent de marcher la tête haute, affranchies de toute entrave, libres de réaliser pleinement leur potentiel et de contribuer à part entière à la transformation de notre continent. Ensemble, unis par la solidarité et l'engagement, œuvrons pour la promotion du bien-être durable de nos populations. Vive l'OAFLAD, je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Angeline Daishimie. We're now honored to invite Her Excellency Zita Oligui Nguema, First Lady of the Republic of Gabon, to share her remarks. Let's warmly welcome Her Excellency.
Excellences, chères sœurs premières dames, distingués représentants des institutions africaines et internationales, mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Dans de nombreux contextes africains, les crises climatiques, sociales et sécuritaires fragilisent profondément les systèmes de santé et de protection sociale. Lorsque la continuité des soins se rompt, ce sont des femmes et les jeunes filles qui en subissent les conséquences les plus durables, tant sur le plan sanitaire que familial et social. Conformément aux engagements portés par le Gabon au sein de l'OAFLAD, notre action nationale s'inscrit dans une approche fondée sur la résilience des systèmes de soins, la prise en charge des fragilités psychosociales et la reconstruction des parcours de vie affectés par les ruptures sanitaires. Cette vision repose sur une conviction claire. La santé physique et mentale constitue le socle de la dignité humaine, de la stabilité des familles et de la capacité de nos sociétés à résister aux chocs. C'est dans cet esprit qu'en 2026, mon engagement au sein de l'OAFLAD s'inscrit dans le pilier santé, avec une priorité affirmée, garantir la continuité des soins pour les femmes et les filles, y compris en période de crise. Les chocs climatiques, les tensions sociales et les situations de conflit mettent à l'épreuve nos systèmes de santé. Lorsqu'ils vacillent, ce sont les femmes et les filles qui portent, souvent dans l'ombre, la charge de la résilience familiale et communautaire. Au Gabon, nous avons fait le choix d'aborder la santé comme un levier structurant de résilience, en développant des réponses capables de prévenir les ruptures, d'accompagner les parcours fragilisés et de consolider la stabilité des familles. Cette approche se traduit par des projets structurants notamment dans la création d'un centre de désintoxication, de formation et de réinsertion à Coq, conçu comme un dispositif intégré de soins et d'accompagnement, ainsi que le projet d'un hôpital dédié à la femme, à la mère et à l'enfant, visant à garantir un accès équitable et durable aux soins essentiels. Ces initiatives poursuivent une même ambition: construire des systèmes de santé capables de résister aux chocs et de soutenir durablement la résilience des femmes et des filles qui constituent le socle de la stabilité de nos sociétés. En 2026, je m'engage à soutenir pleinement la campagne Building Résilience dans le pilier santé, en mettant l'accent sur la continuité des soins pour les femmes et les filles, ainsi que sur le partage d'expériences entre nos États dans un esprit de coopération et de solidarité continentale. Je demeure convaincue que la santé n'est pas seulement une réponse à l'urgence, mais un investissement stratégique pour la dignité humaine, la cohésion sociale et l'avenir durable de nos actions, de nos nations. Je vous remercie de votre aimable attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Zita Oligui Nguema, First Lady of the Republic of Gabon. Excellencies, now please welcome Her Excellency Lordina Dramani Mahama, First Lady of the Republic of Ghana.
Thank you very much, Madam President and our Vice President of OAFLAD, fellow First Ladies, our host First Lady of Ethiopia, and First Gentleman of Namibia, Her Excellency Ambassador Amachum Amwa, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I want to use this occasion to thank the following First Ladies who joined me on the 4th December last year for the ICASA First Ladies High-Level Meeting on Prevention of Mother-to-Child Transmission and Newborn Infection in Africa. First Lady of Sierra Leone and President of OAFLAD, First Lady of Kenya, First Lady of Liberia, First Lady of Gambia, and former First Lady of South Africa. Thank you very much for your kind support. Thank you for this opportunity to share the work of my office in the Lordina Foundation in transforming lives across Ghana. The Lordina Foundation operates through health, education, women's empowerment, and poverty alleviation. As we advance towards 2026 and beyond, we are intensifying our focus on 3 critical areas: access to health. Healthcare access remains our cornerstone. We provide free nationwide screening, examination, counseling, and treatment for communities unable to afford medical care. In partnership with the Ghana AIDS Commission, we conducted comprehensive screening in Greater Accra and Bono regions, providing HIV testing and counseling, syphilis and hepatitis B screening, prenatal education and safe delivery guidance, breast and eye screening with basic care, general checkup and treatment. Thousands of women and children and the elderly have received early detection, guidance, and treatment. Lives have been saved, and we combat stigma, especially towards people living with HIV and AIDS, promoting compassion and support. Since 2024, we conducted quarterly free health screening for retired pastors and wives, providing screening, medication, and dignity to these faithful servants of God who face health and financial challenges in retirement. The foundation has built 3 modern maternity and children's wards at Bole District Hospital, in Kwanzaa Municipal Hospital, and Bodom Health Center. Another facility near completion in Sukoko. We have renovated facilities and donated critical equipment, hospital beds, incubators, ultrasound machines, phototherapies, and supplies nationwide. In December 2025, I hosted fellow First Ladies at the ICASA conference in Accra. With UNAIDS, the WHO, UNFPA, we addressed prevention of mother-to-child HIV transmission and newborn infections across Africa. Going forward, we will expand the interventions to hard-to-reach communities, supporting facility construction, hospital equipment, and health education to local leaders. We will collaborate with the Ghana Medical Trust Fund to fund treatment not covered under national insurance. Good health is the foundation. When women and children are healthy, families are stronger and nations prosper. Access to education. I will continue to support brilliant but underprivileged students through scholarships. Recently, the foundation partnered with MET Foundation to launch the Educating Linda Scholarship Program. It is currently supporting 40 underprivileged junior high school girls with uniforms, stationery, and educational expenses, helping them to stay in school and achieve their dreams. My focus is simple. Education unlocks potential. Every girl we support becomes a leader, change maker, and a nation builder. Economic empowerment of women. We support female artisans, hairdressers, and dressmakers by providing tools and equipment to help them run their businesses after training, and by helping them begin the process of securing decent livelihood. In 2026, my office will continue empowering women in small and medium-scale businesses, helping improve profits, grow enterprises, and build independent, fulfilling lives. We will ally with government initiatives such as the 24-hour economy and the Women's Development Bank, which is launching this year. The foundation will collaborate to ensure that women and girls receive the capital support they need. During community programs, we will introduce basic training in beading, hairdressing, technology, and practical skills. In today's digital world, the internet offers significant income opportunities with proper knowledge and tools. When we empower a woman economically, we empower an entire family and uplift a whole community. Madam President, I am fully committed to supporting OAFLAD's Building Resilient campaign with a focus on access to health. This aligns seamlessly with our mission. Good health is the foundation of life, especially for women and children. Through medical outreaches and community support, We are working towards a future where no woman or child is left behind due to a lack of quality healthcare access. I invite all partners, institutions, and friends to join this journey. Let's build stronger health systems that protect women and children and give them hope. I express deep gratitude to OAFLAD and all partners for the invaluable daily work to make the world safer and better for women, children, and families. My office remains a true and active partner in this important work. Thank you very much, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Madame Lordina Dramani Mahama, First Lady of the Republic of Ghana. And now, Your Excellencies, please welcome Her Excellency Kartumu Yarta Boakai, First Lady of the Republic of Liberia, who will share now her remarks with us. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Her Excellency Dr. Fatima Madubio, our host, Her Excellency Sina Tayashi, fellow First Ladies and our known First Gentleman, AU leadership, development partners, advocates, friends of Africa, and members of the Fourth Estate, good morning. There is something sacred about this soil, Addis Ababa. And as a daughter of Liberia, I do not stay here as a guest, but as a sister returning home. Liberia and Ethiopia, two nations that stood when the rest of Africa was carved and claimed, share more than independence. We share a legacy. When the continent bowed under the weight of colonialism, we remain upright and fearless because we believe in a free Africa before the world did. And it is on the shoulders of that legacy that I stand today, bringing greetings from the resilient women and guys of Liberia, Africa's first republic, to speak of survival and shared destiny. It is both an honor and a burden to speak at this sacred assembly for the first time on the 30th gathering of African First Ladies united under the banner of OAFLAD, an institution that has dared to mother continents, mother a continent when many turn their backs. We meet today at a decisive hour. Climate shocks are intensifying, conflicts are deepening, and tragedy is no longer a distant term. It is our daily reality. But what makes these challenges uniquely cruel is that they do not fall evenly. I've learned through history and hardship that when the sky refuses to rain, it is a girl who walks further. When food becomes scarce, it is a mother who eats last. And when violence erupts, it is a woman's body that bears the memory of war. These intersecting crises, climate, conflict, and systematic exclusion, are converging on the shadows of Africa's most vulnerable. But let us be clear, what is converging is crisis and courage, risk, and resolve. And as I rise to speak today, I'm not here solely as the First Lady of Liberia, but as a mother among mothers, a sister among leaders. I raise my voice in the cry of every woman who refuses to be silenced by suffering. But if we are called First Ladies, let us be the first to lead, the first to stand, and the first to transform resilience into responsibility. Africa has long glorified the resilience of its women, but I challenge us today. Resilience is not a poetic badge. It is a policy mandate. It must be built, funded, institutionalized, and defended. We must stop applauding women for surviving systems that fail them. We must design systems that serve their dignity, protect their dreams, and advance their leadership. We must reject the narrative of the woman as victim and proclaim her as a visionary, a vessel, and a voice. As OAFLAD, we must make this fame transcend a hairline. We must make it a movement because I firmly believe that resilience must be a right, not a reaction. And if resilience is to be our mandate, then water must be our measure. Because a true test of justice is not written in laws or in how far a girl must walk to quench her thirst or preserve her dignity. This year's AU theme, Sustainable Water and Sanitation, transcends a technical agenda. It is a gendered emergency across Liberia and across this continent. Girls drop out of school due to a lack of menstrual hygiene facilities. Women wake at dawn to fetch water that is neither safe nor sufficient. And in many rural areas, the distance between a girl and her dream is the road to the nearest clean well. I have lived long enough to know that water is not neutral. It is political. It is spiritual. And if we fail to guarantee it for women and girls, we are not building a sustainable future. We are tolerating collapse. As the African proverb says, and I quote, "You cannot build a house without water. And likewise, you cannot build peace without justice," end quote. Your Excellencies, peace is not the absence of war. It is the presence of justice. Women must no longer be absent from conflict negotiations, climate adaptation committees, and national budgets. Let me be clear. There can be no climate justice without gender justice, and there can be no peace settlement without women's signatures. This is not rhetoric. It is responsibility. And in Liberia, we are turning that responsibility into results. Under the leadership of President Joseph Boakai Sr., my beloved husband of 53 years of marriage, who sent his heartfelt greetings, Liberia is forging a new social contract that places women and girls at the center of recovery and development. I am proud to report that we have activated a high-level women coalition for maternal and newborn health. We are renovating rural communities and neonatal wards across multiple counties. Just a minute. Multiple counties. And we are addressing trauma and addiction intensified by conflict and climate distress. Our vision is not to make women strong. They already are. Our vision is to build systems strong enough to be worthy of them. As the African proverb teaches, and I quote, "When the roots of a tree begin to decay, it spreads death to the branches," end quote. If we neglect the strength of our women, we threaten the survival of our future. But if we nourish them, they will carry this continent through every storm. So let us move from declarations to disruptions, from policy talk to political will, from the celebration of women's strength to the construction of women's power. In this season of drought and displacement, may OAFLAD be the rain cloud, carrying into provision and not pity. So let me say this clearly to every First Lady here. I do not see you as ceremonial figures. I see you as custodians of courage, ambassadors of action, and mothers of movements yet to be born. As I conclude, let the record show that in the 30th General Assembly, African First Ladies did not gather to admire the strength of women. We gathered to multiply it. We did not come to echo old declarations. We came to chart new directions. And we did not entirely raise our voices. We raised a standard for resilience that is resourced, for justice that is gendered, for futures that are feminine, free, and formidable. If Africa is to rise, it will rise on the shoulders of its women. If she is to stand, she will stand on the strength of her daughters. And if she is to shine, it will be because we, the First Ladies of this continent, chose to act from purpose, not protocol. So let the wings of crisis come. We are rooted. Let the remnants of conflict shake. We are unshaken. Let the fires of inequality rage. We are the rain. Because Africa's resilience is not in our resources, it is in our women. And we as mothers of nations will build that resilience until our daughters inherit our victories, not our wounds. Thank you. May God bless our women in grace, and may God bless our beloved country.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency Kartumu Yarta Boakai, First Lady of the Republic of Liberia. Your Excellencies, and now a special moment. Please warmly welcome His Excellency General Denga Epaphras Ndaitwa, First Gentleman of the Republic of Namibia, to share his remarks. Welcome, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Director of Proceedings. Your Excellency, my sister, Fatima Madabio, the First Lady of Sierra Leone, and the President of this body. Your Excellency, Dr. Ana Alfonso Diaz Loureza, the Vice President, our host, my dear sisters, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe before I start with my statement, for the interest of those who possibly have been asking themselves, who's this boy among girls? This boy among girls now referred to as the first gentleman among first ladies is from Namibia. Before I became what I am today, I served my country and my people for 40 years in a military uniform. At the time of my retirement, I was not the first gentleman, but I was the first member of the Defense Force, meaning I was the overall general of the Defense Force. Now, coming now to my statement, it is my greatest honor to have been invited to attend the 30th special session of Organization of African First Ladies for Development here in the beautiful city of Addis Ababa. I must say, when I received my invitation from the president of this organization, first I thought, no, I think the invitation is misdirected. Because he's talking about the first ladies, of which I was not, and I'm not. But I tried to make myself understand that it happened at the time when I was never there as a first gentleman. It has been a historic fact that time immemorial, this position was more for our mothers. Because I think I must say my women has been so great enough that they always wanted to be the presidents, while others must be below them. The political dynamics is now changing. The political dynamics is changing that on the 1st or 21st March last year, the Namibian inaugurated its 5th president, Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, the 5th president of the Republic of Namibia. And it was now on that day of her inauguration, when somebody, or before that, a little bit before that, when somebody whispered to me that, hey, be careful, because after this inauguration, you will be referred to as the first gentleman. Of course, first I couldn't even understand it properly. What does that mean? Because I was used to first ladies. For 35 years, we are talking and referring to these first ladies. I thought everybody who come there must be a first lady. I thought also I was going to be referred to as a first lady. But somebody is going to say, not first lady, but first gentleman. That's now something I'm trying also now to get used to because of the political dynamics I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's theme is building resilience for women and girls. Climate, conflict, and sustainable future. I fully agree with the theme. But part of what I will mention here, I will possibly bring in some few elements, because we have to talk about women and girls, you will hear some words like the boy child. You will hear some words, our people. Why? It's because when I came into this office, I also tried to look holistically into our society. And I decided that I think the best, why don't I address some issues, some pertinent issues that I strongly feel they need to be addressed. Having the understanding that our women and girls, they are already covered and they are also being covered. What about the boy child? Who will be a husband to that girl we are talking about? What if they don't understand each other because they were not addressed along that line? That simply means my focus, without trying to take anything from the agenda of this body, but back home, my focus is on the boy child. Because I'm seeing a bit of imbalances that has been created in the past. And while I'm there, I want also to address that imbalances. So that as a father, I'm a father of 6, 3 girls, 3 boys. I don't want to favor girls, neither boys. I want to see them all as my children, because I'm a parent. If my sons will see me favoring girls, of course they will complain. If my daughters will see me favoring boys, they will complain. Therefore, I'm trying to keep kind of sort of equilibrium so that they all feel they are all children of the same father and same mother. Apart from the boy child, I want to address that, because one thing, if I might be before you go, what I have realized that, for example, if you want to go to the statistics of crimes, the majority of statistics are committed by men, if I can take it that way. If you want to see where the majority men or where men are in the majority, go to prisons. Why not balance? Because prisons are not meant for men. They are meant for whoever trespasses the law. But you go there, you'll find the majority are men. That simply means something is missing. And they believe when they are there in their majority, they think that's where we belong. Our women do not belong here. It's because our women do not belong there because they do behave, because they are well brought up, as opposed to some of us who are men who are left to do things on our own. Now, to try now to see how best I can help the society to move together, I tried and I'm trying to devise some kind of ways and means. One of them is sports. If you engage particularly young women, men and women into sports, that means much of their time will be occupied by that. There is this understanding that an idle mind is a workshop of a devil. If you don't occupy their minds, they will occupy their minds on whatever they feel they must occupy their minds. That's sports. To a certain extent, I've already started. Of course, come next month is when I will complete a 1-year cycle in this office. The other thing is to look into agriculture, regardless of the scale. But possibly one can start small and grow. Those are some of the areas I want to focus on as I'm talking about the boy child. But again, to highlight that on the boy child, it will not be exclusive to say it's exclusive of boys only. It is open to all, to everybody who wants to participate. Girls, women, and of course men. It's on that, the focus is on that. I fully understand that our society, and it's a kind of a global trend, is faced with a lot of challenges. One of the challenges is the HIV and AIDS, which is affecting all communities globally. Not long a time ago, when the world was almost brought to standstill by COVID-19, specifically now coming to our girls, like it was mentioned here, can talk of early pregnancies, unwanted in any case. Those are some of the challenges we as a community or as a society, as an African community, we have to face head on. Sometimes there is also an understanding that we will not live in the world without challenge, but there's no challenge without opportunity. The moment we get into challenge, let us try to get into the opportunity. More so here, I'm talking to the leaders in different perspectives, as first ladies. That's one of the challenges we have to face. We are leaders on our own, though our spouses are the ones who made us to be what we are. But automatically we become leaders. There's also an understanding that the moment you are admitted or you're accepted to a leader, you have accepted or you have made yourself to be a prime candidate for challenge. Therefore, don't succumb to challenge. Take them as part of what we must do. I want just also to give to reflect a little bit again on our political structure back home. More so that I'm talking to the majority who are ladies here, particularly the first ladies. On the 21st March again, when the president was sworn in, she has to appoint her cabinet. She has to set up the government structures. Resistance now, I think, is the first in the world, that you have the president who is a female, the vice president who is a female, the Speaker of the National Assembly who is a female. As that was not enough, the cabinet, the BPR cabinet, as of now stands with 14 ministries. 57% of these ministries, they are all females. Now, I want not to underline this. These appointments I'm talking about is not made because they were females. it is done, or these appointments is done because they were females who are capable and able to deliver services. Why I have to underline that? Because they might be misinterpreted and say, oh, now she's a lady, she's appointing other ladies. Well and good. But she was looking at the capabilities and abilities of those who can lead the nation, not because they were women. In view of the growing priorities of now this body 2026, including or earmarking programs that will occupy boys but also girls. I've already reflected into that on that. Those programs related to sports, I've also mentioned about that. Based on now that narrative, we must be mindful to uplift girls without sidelining boys. We must advance our daughters without abandoning our sons. We must aim to build Africa we want, where every child contributes to the solution of the continent's development. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, my dear sisters, I finally wish to express my commitment to the Building Resilience campaign and to the various OAFLAD pillar, including promoting access to education. As I finally conclude, I want also to, because yesterday we have witnessed the elections or the taking over of the helm of the organization by President of Burundi. Maybe it's also time that we convey our congratulations to what I will term a head of state of the African continent now. If you can convey our congratulations, and that is one challenge, my sister, on your shoulders. My dear sister here, Anna, has done her best during the attempt. She helped President Lorenzo to steer the organization. Now the turn is yours, and you must help our president to make it happen. I thank you.
We thank you very much, Your Excellency, General Dengai Epafras Ndaitwa, for your message. And now, one more remarks before a well-deserved coffee break, Your Excellencies. Please welcome Her Excellency Marie Konefaye, First Lady of the Republic of Senegal, who will share her remarks now with us. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you, my sister. Excellence, Madame Fatima Madedio, Présidente de l'OAFLAD, Excellences, Mesdames les Premières Dames africaines, mon cher grand frère, distingués invités, chers partenaires, nous voici réunis à Addis Ababa pour cette 30e Assemblée générale à un tournant décisif pour notre continent qui fait face à une convergence de crises sans précédent. La 30e Assemblée générale de l'OAFLAD n'est pas seulement un forum de plaidoyer, c'est une plateforme d'action stratégique. Le thème qui nous rassemble aujourd'hui, la résilience des femmes face au changement climatique et aux conflits, n'est pas qu'un sujet de discussion académique. Et notre campagne Building Résilience répond à une réalité chiffrée. Les femmes et les filles sont en première ligne d'un choc climatique et sécuritaire qu'elles n'ont pas provoqué. Nous le savons, lorsqu'un conflit éclate ou que la terre devient aride, ce sont les femmes qui paient le prix le plus fort. La campagne Building Résilience, que nous portons avec fierté, met en lumière une réalité brutale. Partout en Afrique, les femmes sont moins protégées, les moins dotées en ressources, et pourtant, ce sont elles qui portent nos sociétés à bout de bras. Cette initiative cruciale met en lumière les risques de violence, de perturbation de l'éducation et la limitation des opportunités économiques auxquelles font face les femmes et les filles dans des situations vulnérables. Mes chères sœurs, mesdames et messieurs, mon cher frère, je suis fière de souligner, j'ai lancé avec succès au niveau national le 4 février dernier la campagne Building Résilience. En lançant dans mon pays la campagne Building Résilience, je réaffirme mon engagement à transformer ces défis en opportunités de développement pour nos filles, pour nos nations et pour une Afrique durable où aucune femme n'est laissée pour compte face au vent du changement. Mon action spécifique continue de porter sur le plaidoyer en faveur du renforcement de la résilience et de l'autonomisation économique des femmes et placer les femmes et les filles au centre du renforcement de la résilience et de l'agenda 2063. Mon bureau soutiendra des initiatives garantissant que l'éducation des filles soit le levier de leur autonomisation future. J'appelle à une action collective pour transformer ces engagements en politique nationale concrète. Ensemble, en protégeant l'éducation de nos filles et en libérant le potentiel économique de nos femmes, nous bâtissons une Afrique résiliente. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Marie Konefai, First Lady of the Republic of Senegal. That set the tone for our commemorative photo, which we will now take. First ladies and those on the high table, they will use the exit to my left. The rest of participants, you will use the exit to my right. We'll take a group photo of the first ladies and speakers, and the rest of participants will also enjoy their coffee. In strict observance of protocol, I request everyone to remain in the room as the first ladies first take their exit and also the first gentleman. Your Excellencies, you may now proceed for the group photo using the exit towards my left. We have protocol officers